Hey, welcome to Crazy Biatch Asians. This is a podcast where we discuss the issues Asians can face in the Western world with a critical mind, a bit of healthy debate, and lots of tea. Hosted by Sydney-based digital marketer Sharon Jiang and journalist Juna Zhu.
Hey! On today's episode, we'll be diving into the dark side of K-pop, behind the glitz and glam that has captured the attention of billions worldwide and created what is known as idol culture. Just a heads up that today's episode will mention eating disorders and suicide, so if you're triggered by these topics, it's best to take caution. Please contact Reach Out and Lifeline Australia if you need any support. Shaz. You know how much we love our Hayden James and Safia and Rufus. But you know what other genre I really like?
I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say it comes from the eastern side of the globe.
Yeah.
Am I guessing that it's K-pop?
Definitely. And you know that because every time you actually come into my car, I have my K-pop playlist going.
Always.
Which is banger. Just as a little side if you want to, give me a like on Spotify. No, I'm joking. But this is definitely a new thing for me because prior to 2019, I didn't have one Korean song on my Spotify. And it was like when I was at school, K-pop was only a hot topic for the Chinese international students. And I remember vividly we had to sit in alphabetical order in one of our science classes. And of course, because my surname starts with an X, I was put at the end with the rest of the Chinese students. And all they would do would just rave on about K-pop, like Big Bang and EXO and how hot and handsome they were. And me, thinking I was cool and Western, would sit there silently judging them. And joke's on me now because I should have chimed into all their conversations because K-pop is such a big, hot topic.
Absolutely. And were you wanting them to chat about Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera?
No, Justin Bieber.
Oh, Justin Bieber. All right, well, there you go. Actually, a similar thing happened to me as well. Heaps of kids in high school used to love the early generation of K-pop. So I'm talking Big Bang.
Big Bang.
I was going to say Big Ben.
Big Bang.
Big Bang. Oh, don't at me. Don't come at me. Big Bang, that Bubble Pop lady. Bubble Pop. Hey Yuna.
Yes.
What about the GGGG? Girls' Generation. I was like you. I legit was so whitewashed. I'm like, I am not going to participate in this conversation. I was listening to Coldplay in high school, so that was completely the other side of music. You're definitely a bigger fan of K-pop than I am, so I appreciate it from afar, but you're like immersed in it.
Yeah, I really... I don't know, it just gets me. And I always loved going to get my manicure done because I would sit there and I go to a Korean place and I would watch the music videos playing on the TV, but that's basically it. And my love for K-pop only really developed last year in 2020. And it's when a lot of the K-pop songs became really mainstream. And I found that actually, hot tip, watching K-pop music videos while running on the treadmill really gets you motivated.
Oh, okay. To what song specifically?
Oh, I just YouTube it. I just go K-pop playlist, press play.
Beautiful.
And wow, just the adrenaline pumping through your body when you're on the treadmill. If you're not into running, please try this because it really got me into running on a treadmill.
Yeah, health tip, exactly.
Yes. And I really appreciate the talent that goes into producing these amazing music videos and the killer songs. Okay, Shaz, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
How many K-pop bands can you list at the top of your head?
Top of my head, Blackpink.
Totally.
Big Bang. A Girls' Generation.
These are the ones you just talked
Literally.
about.
Don't at me. There's that one that's like Blackpink, but not. Also full of chicks.
I think most of them are full of chicks.
There's the ones with the 7 guys or the 5 guys and they're always interviewed. You know what I'm talking about.
Shame on you, Sharon Jiang. Shame on you.
All right, you go.
BTS is the one that you were trying to talk about.
That's it.
BTS, Blackpink, EXO, 17, Girls' Generation.
Oh, wow. Okay, you really know them.
Super Junior, Monster X, Twice. Yeah,
okay.
all
yeah.
of them.
Okay. You definitely know more of them. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
I may not have the best K-pop general knowledge, but I have watched a few K-pop videos.
Yeah.
And I must say, the production value, the costuming, the dancing, it is like next level.
Yeah.
Absolutely next level.
Cannot compare it to the Western music
Exactly.
videos. As much as like hard work goes into those too,
100%.
but just
100%.
Yeah.
And I find them a lot more toned down than
Yes.
the explicit sexiness of, say, Nicki Minaj or Cardi B.
you're not going to see any twerking.
No, you're not going to see any twerking.
It definitely reflects the rise of idol culture, now known as the Korean wave or Hallyu wave, and I hope I said that right. So this is the idea that South Korean pop culture has grown in prominence to become a major driver of global culture, seen in everything from Korean dramas, movies, Hello Parasite, to food, and of course the ever-growing popularity of K-pop. It's incredible to think that in 2020, it was actually the first time in which two K-pop acts monopolized the Billboard Artist 100. That being Blackpink in a #1 spot
Wow.
with the song Lovesick Girls, and BTS in second with Dynamite.
Can you sing some of those now?
Are we
Okay, yeah.
Blackpink in your area?
Oh, man.
We don't have the voices of an angel.
No, definitely not. Definitely not X Factor for us.
No.
Definitely not.
Of course, this wasn't the first time that Blackpink made history. In 2018, they were the first ever K-pop group to make it on the Billboard Hot 100 with
Oh, no. Oh, God, no.
I can sing it in my head, but I'm not singing it out loud for you.
What is the title? It's just do.
But
Is that how you say
but
it?
I can't say it just like that. I have to sing it in my head.
yeah, that's true.
Like, Anyway, they opened at number 55 and
Yeah.
they made the list. And you've seen Blackpink's Netflix doco, haven't you?
I definitely have. And I really enjoyed it. You recommended it to me.
Yes.
And honestly, prior to that, I wasn't into K-pop at all. But seeing how much work they put in, seeing the sacrifices they make, the production value of it all, even the costume department, it's really made me respect and admire the art. 100%.
Yeah, but it's definitely a double-edged sword, because behind all this glitz and glam that captures our attention, there is harassment, sexual abuse, and exploitation behind the pure and idolized facade.
Yeah.
And it's led many to presume that these idols are receiving an unmatched level of wealth and freedom, yet the actual world of idol contracts and deals isn't quite as rosy as one might be led to believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And this social phenomenon of idol culture is attracting people from all over the world, in Australia, in the US, everywhere, who are idolizing these Korean superstars, and many aspire to be K-pop idols, perhaps not us with our beautiful voice.
Sure?
I mean, we could try. Unfortunately, they're not getting the full picture, and this perfect world is actually quite imperfect. Okay, before we dive into things, it's important we distinguish the difference between a Korean singer and a Korean idol. A Korean singer is just any celebrity who is not under an entertainment company and therefore has more freedom and independence. However, a K-pop idol is a person who is under a mainstream entertainment company. Think YG, SM, and Big Hit, and have undergone extensive training in dance, vocals, and foreign language. They are expected to sing, dance, MC, voice act, entertain, model, and play musical instruments. That is a lot of skills to have.
I don't possess one.
Yeah, literally, that is a lot. So idols maintain a carefully curated public image and social media presence, and dedicate significant time and resources to building relationships with fans through concerts and meetups. According to Urban Dictionary, the best dictionary that there is, an idol is, quote, someone, boy or girl, who works hard and diets to become famous.
But the biggest offender behind the toxic idol culture is these entertainment companies and what has been labelled the slave contracts.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds bad.
So popular music in South Korea actually existed long before Lee Soo-man, a famous record producer, founded SM Entertainment in 1996 and began the K-pop trainee program as part of a concept labeled Cultural Technology. And his mark on the music industry essentially birthed contemporary K-pop and ushered a completely new generation of idols who would go on to dominate the local and international markets. Lee's system was simple. It was to scout for talent, enter them into a trainee program at a young age, and debut them as part of an idol group tailored to what was popular at that time.
And as K-pop took off, more labels were established. But while the big three of SM, JYP, and YG were able to coast along thanks to the profits their top artists were producing, smaller labels found it harder to make a profit. Cue the slave contract. Most labels employed a system of break-even, where idols would be required to pay back the cost of their training, which included singing, dancing, and language lesson, in addition to living costs once their work began turning a profit. And in order to maintain the image of the label, as well as the persona carefully constructed for each idol, they would be required to sign contracts that stipulated they were to allow their labels to control everything from their diets to their relationships and social lives. These aspiring idols, who were as young as 12 or 13 years old, would be full of eagerness to make their dreams come true, and they end up signing contracts of this nature that extended to a period over 10 years or more.
Yeah, I can imagine being a 12 or 13-year-old. You know, you have these hopes and dreams. You see these amazing artists on TV splashed across billboards and everything. You want to become that.
100%. The glitz, the glamour, the colour, the fame, 100%.
So this would actually mean that a lot of these singers were living in heavy debt.
100%.
Oh, gosh.
For popular idols, this could take as little as a few years to finally become debt-free, but for others struggling to make their mark, this could go on for much longer. Idols definitely don't get paid as much as you think. An SBS article says that an average K-pop rookie group earns about $4,000 per show. This is then broken down to a 90-10 split between the company and artist. So the company gets 90%, the artist gets 10.
What? And this is split into how many people are in a group.
Exactly. So it's like a pittance. So apparently the ones who can break even and earn money, such as BTS, are the lucky ones. Their fame allows them to sign endorsement deals that help repay debts. Unfortunately, not all groups have that luxury.
Wow, so a lot of them exit their career, enter the military broke.
Yes. And how much is in the military?
Oh, God.
I don't know how much they pay.
Actually heartbreaking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So despite all these financial woes, lots of aspiring young idols still join a company's trainee program in the hopes of making it.
Yeah.
The chances of them making it, I would guess, very slim.
Slim, yeah.
So this trainee program lasts for an indefinite period of time, ranging from months to years, and involves long days filled with vocal, dance, and language classes while living together with other trainees. And most of these trainees drop out of school to focus on their idol careers. Once a trainee enters the system, their personal life, body conditions, visual appearances, and relationships are regulated.
Exactly.
No
It's
control
like
whatsoever.
exactly like the entertainment companies seem to control mostly everything. And get this, the system requires trainees to maintain a wholesome image while remaining private about their lives and thoughts. I mean, that is some next level control.
Wow, it's like they're not even allowed to speak up for themselves at all.
It's like they can't be their own person.
No, they're just assigned these roles and this persona to portray.
Yeah, the pressure of that. I can't imagine.
No.
Can't imagine.
With the whole wholesome image thing, you're definitely not going to see any of that twerking Nicki Minaj.
Exactly. It's definitely not as outwardly sexually explicit.
No.
It's always a little bit more hidden,
Yeah.
a little bit more winky,
Yes.
you know, a bit like saucy dancing,
Yeah.
never like explicit sexual
Or
material.
it's showing off that they can actually dance.
Exactly. It's like actual choreography.
Actual choreography.
The shade towards Nicki Minaj.
But oh my God, if you tried doing some of their dances, which
It's
you
hard.
have, it's hard.
It's so difficult.
So Sharon's a dancer.
No.
And you did the do. And what, you did like one little section of it? And
I was so sweaty after half an hour.
If you watch any music video, you will notice that these idols are very slim.
Super
slim.
Super slim.
To this extent. So in a BBC article, a girl by the name of Eudius, I hope I said that right, described her experience as a K-pop trainee and why, after being selected for a girl group, she quit. So she couldn't actually handle the pressure and the whole image that she was supposed to portray. So amongst the grueling hours training from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. or later, never having weekends or holidays, not being allowed family to visit without approval, and after being identified as a number and stage name as opposed to just her real name, this girl added that, I quote, "Weight was the constant obsession of everyone. Everyone was required to be no heavier than 47 kilos, regardless of their age or height. At weekly weigh-ins, your body would be analysed by the trainer and then they announced your weight to everyone in the room."
Whoa.
Yeah. If you were over the designated weight, then they would ration your food. Sometimes they would even take away entire meals and those overweight trainees would just be given water. Starving yourself was really normalised. Some trainees were anorexic or bulimic and many of the girls didn't have periods. It was common to pass out from exhaustion. Often we had to help carry unconscious trainees back to their dorms. I passed out twice during dance practice, probably because I was dehydrated or hadn't eaten enough. I woke up in bed not knowing how I got there.
That's intense.
Oh, wow. And to go on from that, an article in Hello K-pop detailed the diet regimen of idols with the watermelon diet, lettuce diet, and cucumber diet being the most popular. And you don't need much explanation to know what those entail.
Yeah. It seems like their entertainment company is just condoning and encouraging eating disorders.
Yeah.
You mentioned 47 kilos.
Oh, God.
That is severely underweight.
Yeah. For any age or height.
Exactly.
So if you're 180 and you're 47 kilos.
That's tiny. That's like nothing. That's
and you're
tiny.
training from 5 a.m. till like midnight.
Oh my God.
You're just burning off everything that you've eaten and more.
And more, literally. And so considering the massive influence of K-pop idols on their young and impressionable fans, it begs the question, are K-pop idols an appropriate body image role model for people to look up to?
Definitely not. But people don't see that because your Instagram feed, your Facebook feed, Google, it's just saturated with images of these beautiful people.
Exactly. And I mean, girls would see these extreme diets and they would want to emulate them in order to look like their idols. What I found really interesting about this is that in the West, pop culture has moved beyond the 90s heroin chic, skinny is beautiful type of look. But it seems like South Korea is still living by those standards.
Yes.
And I've also read that body alterations through, you guessed it, plastic and cosmetic surgery is not only common but revered and encouraged.
Yes, in that same BBC article, the girl touched on the issue of plastic surgery. She said, "By Korean standards, I have a very big face, so they wanted to change the bridge of my nose and shave my jawline. The company couldn't force a trainee to have plastic surgery, but it was strongly encouraged. Plastic surgery is very normal in South Korea and the prospect of having surgery didn't bother me at all. I saw it as an investment in my future. The cost of the operation would have been added to my debt to the company." But of course, her parents actually were quite worried about this, and that's where she kind of drew the line.
Yeah, I can see why. It's like a keeping up with the Joneses thing.
Yeah.
There's this pressure for idols to get surgery because of their peers and to stay competitive. She said it's an investment in her future. So she obviously saw it as a career-making move. And then this influences their young fans. It's not surprising that South Korea has one of the highest rates of cosmetic surgery in the world. And much of this is impacted by pop culture. So a research paper in 2015, the author Dixon argues that idol culture becomes, quote, very dangerous when young females follow this uniformity of beauty and body image and take extreme measures to become like those girl idols. So like you've mentioned, most girl idols are extremely underweight and have gone through multiple plastic surgery procedures. Dixon goes on to say that, quote, media contributes heavily to the unhealthy uniformity of beauty, resulting in distorted youth body and face imagery.
They all kind of prescribe to the same look as well. So if you watch a lot of these videos, it's pretty hard to tell the difference between who is who.
Same shaped nose, same angle of the chin, same distance.
Yeah.
Very similar.
And this control doesn't just stop at physical appearance through dieting and plastic surgery. It also extends into their everyday lifestyle and general wholesome image. So South Korea is generally a conservative society in terms of sex, overt displays of skin, etc. So idols not only have to uphold ideal beauty standards, but also they have to reflect the ideal and moral citizen. So what is that? Purity, chastity. They must have no vices, for example, alcohol, drugs, and tobacco. And you are also not allowed to date where getting married requires permission. So JYP Entertainment, the agency behind Twice and GOT7, has a really strict no dating rule until 3 years after an artist has emerged in the public eye. Apparently, to prevent any romances, male and female trainees are kept segregated. So Blackpink's Rosé said she wasn't allowed to look at or say hi to the males, be in the same space, or even eat dinner together.
Honestly, that's just a lot of pressure. Everything that you've mentioned above, the wholesome image, the not allowed to eat with the other trainees that are males. I mean, your whole life and day-to-day seems to be dictated by the values of someone else.
Yes. And a result of this, of course, is people taking their lives. So this is the part where we talk about suicide. So please, if this triggers you in any way, there's always online support available.
Yeah.
The toxicity, the demands, and the stress has resulted in a lot of these idols to take their own lives. In 2019 alone, 25-year-old Soo Lee from South Korean girl group FX committed suicide. She was known for speaking about her feminist ideals and often received backlash, especially for going out in public without a bra. In an interview with People magazine, Soo Lee's band member Liu said Soo Lee wasn't just the type of person to actually let things get to her, but one of the last Instagram live videos she'd shared before her death, in which she told her followers, "I'm not a bad person," showed the toll the online hate was taking on her. Liu continued, "I felt really angry. I was angry at myself too, because Soo Lee and I talked a few weeks before. It's like, man, if I just sent another text, what could have happened?" Just a month after Soo Lee's death, her friend and fellow K-pop idol Goo Hara, who was a member of the band Kara and was outspoken when it came to defending herself against online harassment, was found dead by suicide in her home at the age of 28. Oh my God.
God, I don't really have anything to add here, to be honest. Apart from, if you feel triggered by this conversation, please, you can always contact Lifeline Australia 131114 for support.
Idols now have greater freedom, thankfully, both in their personal lives as well as their professional endeavours. The concept of this slave contract was blown wide open when the group TVXQ sued their label SM in 2008, stating their 13-year contract was unfair. The 5-member group was the most popular from the second generation of idols and helped put K-pop on the global map. The group made almost no profits from their hard work.
God.
Yes. So South Korea's Fair Trade Commission responded by establishing a new rule in 2009 that limited contracts to 7 years. They added restrictions to the contracts in 2017, which included reforming the financial penalties for broken contracts with trainees and added clauses that made it difficult for labels to pressure idols into renewing contracts after they expired.
That's good. I mean, thank God there's some new restrictions, new laws. And TVXQ definitely paved the way for younger generation idols to not only have a better working condition, but also to have a better understanding of what a slave contract is and how to avoid being trapped in one. in saying that while they are no longer bound by the rules of a slave contract and the industry has relaxed its hold on young idols, there is still so much work that needs to be done to help these idols. 100%.
Yes, totally. But after researching for this episode and realizing just how prominent this dark side of K-pop is, I am actually really quite torn. So my dilemma is this. By me participating in idol culture, by listening to K-pop music, is this considered a good deed because I'm essentially supporting their hard work? Or am I just fueling this incessant demand for a steady stream of content, which in turn makes them have to work harder, creates more pressure for them, and ultimately destroys their physical and mental health? Like, what?
Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword. I think it's a little bit of both. I actually don't know the answer to that because we live in a world of instant gratification, constant entertainment, so much content. If the demand for K-pop music increases, then it's just more and more idols need to be created, more music, more MVs, more competition, more pressure. I'm honestly not sure how to solve this issue. Because, look, in the West, the idea of protesting and strikes are very commonplace. But does that work in Asia? Is the answer people's power? I mean, does it take all of the K-pop fans to speak up about it and pressure the companies? I honestly have no idea.
It's such a heavy topic.
I know. I don't know the answer to that. And if you guys have any thoughts, please DM us on Crazy Biatch Asians on Instagram. We want to know your thoughts because honestly, we're at a loss here.
Yeah.
I think all the negatives aside, I think we can all agree that it's actually an amazing feat for Asian music in an Asian language to become mainstream in the West.
And have the whole world sing along with them, know the lyrics, learn their dances.
Exactly. That's something to be celebrated.
Yeah, it's something to be proud of.
Yes.
We've added in a new segment to the potty, so please give a warm welcome to CBA College. You know, like your tutoring school, except don't worry, we won't keep you here for hours lecturing you about geometry and calculus. Instead, both of us will be sharing our most interesting fact of the week, so you actually walk away from this podcast having learned something. So Shaz, take it away.
Okay, so my fact for this week is a little bit political, but if we have any Thai people listening out there, this is one for you. So, Thailand, formerly Siam, is the only country in Southeast Asia that has not been colonized by Europeans.
Oh.
So without getting too much...
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Isn't that
actually
crazy?
never thought about the whole of Thailand.
Yeah. They were the only country not colonized by a European power. That's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Exactly. So any Thais out there, be proud of that. Literally, go you. So I won't get too much into the modern history like a textbook, but here are some reasons why. So number one, Thailand is in an awesome geographical position. In the mid-19th century, it was a buffer zone between the British colonies of the Malay Peninsula and the French colony of Indochina. And secondly, the kings, especially Chulalongkorn.
Don't come at Shaz.
Don't come at me. I know that was terrible. Modernized the country through a huge nation-building project and map making. So emphasis on the map making. The maps were important because the Thais knew that Europeans used maps to define territory.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no GPS systems.
Exactly. So when borders were not well defined, they used it as an opportunity to claim the land. So the Thais jumped on that and thought, gotta lock in those borders so no one F's with us. And when something's on paper, you know it's legit.
Yeah. Want evidence?
Exactly.
Get it in writing.
Exactly. Get it in writing. So voila, that's why they were never colonized.
Yes.
So what about you?
Okay, well, mine's not anywhere near how intellectual Sharon's is. As you may have picked up a theme for my fun facts, they're quite...
the gross theme.
You know what? They're great to drop on first dates.
Exactly.
Because they lighten the mood.
Exactly.
If you want to get political and intellectual, drop Sharon's. But if you want to, maybe sound dumb smart. Mention mine.
Yes. So what is yours?
Okay, so in Japan, there is a festival known as the Kanamara Matsuri Festival. Don't come at me.
I feel like I know what you're going to say.
Okay, well, this literally translates to the Festival of the Steel Phallus.
Yeah, okay, I knew it. I was going to be like, is it the penis?
Yes, it's the Penis Festival.
Why do they have a penis
Oh my
festival?
god, the pictures of this, please Google
It's
it.
so
It's
funny.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So the festival is celebrated in the city of Kawasaki on the first Sunday in April. Lock it in your diaries. So the phallus is the star of the festival, and everything in this festival is phallic, so it's shaped in its honor. This includes candy, carved vegetables,
Oh, wow.
and decorations. The highlight is the Makoshi Parade, which sees large decorated phalluses paraded in a float shaped like a shrine. The origin of this
Wow.
festival comes from an old Shinto fable. Legend has it that a demon once hid in the private parts of a goddess and bit off 2 of her suitors' penises on their wedding night. A blacksmith then created an iron phallus, which broke the demon's teeth and caused it to flee. I'm sorry, I can't keep a serious face.
That's the story?
How interesting is that?
Oh my god. I've seen photos of this.
It's hilarious. There's like this massive peak thing.
Literally, and there's just giant statues, and people like sit on these. Some people like take a photo of sitting on the penis. There's everything.
Like people eating phallus vegetables.
Literally.
And every time I look at this pink water pot,
Oh no, don't even go there. Wow.
Yeah.
When is it again?
The first Sunday in April. So what is that this year?
Oh my god, perfect. Because last week we had mentioned Singles
Singles
Day
Day.
in Korea, April 14th. So let's stop by the Penis Festival in Japan.
On the 4th of April.
4th of April.
Lock it in your diaries.
Lock it in the diary. And that brings us to the end of another episode.
Yes, we've only barely touched the surface on this topic, let's be honest. There is a never-ending trail of information regarding the lives of K-pop stars, and a lot still goes on behind the scenes that the public aren't even aware of.
Yeah, I agree. There is so much to discuss. I feel like we've definitely missed a couple of things,
yeah.
as the dark side of K-pop really is a rabbit hole. There's so much.
Definitely. So please subscribe to Crazy Biatch Asians on your favorite podcast app, and if you've got a sec, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so we can keep going.
See you all on the Instagram at Crazy Biatch Asians for the best Asian memes. And you can always find us on TikTok.
No.
Same name, always the same username.
Anyway, chat soon, gang.
Bye.